In this video, I will show you how you can automate your entire cold email system. So by the end of this video, you will be getting hot leads with basically zero effort. Okay, so this workflow works by typing in the search term of the lead that you want to get scraped. So this could, for example, be SEO expert in the US. Then you could send this data and then the workflow starts running. Okay, so we will first create the right search term. Afterwards, we will send this search term to Apify, where we're going to scrape in the job post on this search term. So in our case, this will be SEO experts, because what we want to do is scrape these job posts, then reach out to that company and say, hey, we are an agency specialized in SEO and we can help you with this. So that's what we're going to do in this node. Okay, so after we have scraped all of the companies, we will send it to an if node where we're going to check if the companies have more or less than 50 employees. If they have less than 50 employees, we will go through with the workflow. Afterwards, here in the hunter node, we're going to scrape all of the emails from their domain. And then we're going to take them through a filter where we're going to filter out the decision maker of their company, because that's where we want to send an email to. After you've created a summary of their Indeed job post, we're going to scrape the homepage from their website. And then we're going to do a Tavily deep research on their company, because we want to look at the recently achievements that they have, because this information we can use in our email opener. After the email opener, we're going to clean the company name, because we want to have a clean name when we are mentioning them in our email. And then afterwards, we're going to create the subject. And at the end, we're going to create the cold email that we will send in our Gmail. So let's take a look on what this workflow has created. Okay, so in our Gmail, we received two cold emails. And the first one is SEO help for Selligent Marketing Cloud. So then here we have our opener of the email and then the reason why we are sending this email. And then here we have our offer. So here we say, I run an agency specializing in SEO, and we notice you are experiencing issues with organic visibility and lead generation. With our service, we can solve this problem so you'll be able to increase qualified traffic and improve search rankings across all your targeted audience. So this is the offer of our email. Then here we say that we've already worked with some companies that are similar to their company so that they can expect the same results. And then afterwards we have the sign off. And this is the result of the cold email system. So now I will show you how you can build this system yourself. But before we start, I just wanted to quickly let you know that this workflow will also be free to download in our free Skool community. And the link for that will be standing in the description. Then once you are in the community, you will go to the classroom at the top. And then you will go to the n8n workflow vault. And here the workflow will be standing, so you can just download the resource, plug it into your n8n, and then you're ready to go. Okay, so this workflow starts by adding a chat message trigger. And here we're going to receive the search term for the lead that we want to get scraped. Afterwards, we will have an AI agent. And for the AI agent, the first thing that we'll have to add is the chat model. And the chat model for this AI agent is going to be GPT 4.1 mini. And this is enough because the only thing that we have to do is create the right search term. So for creating the right search term, what we will have to enter is the chat input from our chat message. So we can drag this in the user message, and then the user prompt is set up. Then we also have a system message, and in the system message we're going to say, you are an AI classification agent designed to extract and normalize structured information from natural input. So what we're going to do is that we're going to extract the information from our search term, because the things that we need for our Indeed job post scraper that we are later on going to add are the country, the location, and the position. And this is important because these are the filters that we can use to search for leads. And then we have some instructions where we, for example, say normalize country names to ISO codes. An example is United States to the USA, America to US. And then we have, if any value is not mentioned, return null for that value. And here we gave it some rules, such as the agent must return 3 distinct strings outputs, not a single string with separators. And then we gave it the example output on how it should output all of the data. Okay, and what we're also going to add is a required specific output format. This is going to be very important because this will give our AI agent the restriction on how it should only output all of its data. And then you will need to add a structured output parser. And in the structured output parser, we're going to create this JSON. And this JSON is basically saying the country has to be this, then the location has to be this, and then the position should be this. So you can copy this script and then paste it in the structured output format. So next we have a HTTP node. And in this HTTP node, we're going to scrape all of the job posts from Indeed. So in the HTTP node, we have to configure all of these input fields. And we can just easily do this by creating the curl And the squirrel can be created by going to Apify, because this is the app that we're going to use to scrape all of the Indeed job posts. So if you have never heard from Apify before, Apify is an app that basically allows you to scrape all kinds of websites such as Indeed and LinkedIn. And to create an account, you will just press on Go to Console and then entering your account details. So once you have created your account, you will get sent to this page, and this is called the Apify store. And here are all of the scrapers that are listed on Apify. And the scraper that we are going to use is the Indeed scraper. So I'll type in Indeed, and then the first one that you see is the one that we're going to use. So you can press on this one. So now we need to configure this scraper, and we can do this by going to the docs of Apify, and then in the docs you will go to run active synchronously with input and get dataset items. And in here on the right side we have to fill in some details, and this will need to be the bearer token, and this is going to be the API of Apify. You can easily find this by going back to Apify, then going to the settings, then in the settings go to API and integrations. And here you will see your API tokens, and you can create a new one by pressing on create a new token. And here you can enter a description, an expiry date, and a limit token permission. And afterwards you will get your key. And when you have this key, you will need to copy it. And then you have to go back to the run actor synchronously and paste it in the bearer token. And the next value that we need is the actor ID. And the actor ID can be found by going back to Apify, then going to your actors, then press on the Indeed scraper, and then in the URL you will here see this value, and you will need to copy this value, then go to your run actor synchronously and paste it in the actor ID. And then the last value that we need is the body, and the body can be found by also going back to Apify. Then in the Indeed scraper you will first have to flick on the scrape company details, and we need this because we also want to scrape the details of the companies that we're going to scrape, because then we also get access to their domain, to the amount of employees that they have, and to all kinds of information that is useful to us. So you have to flick that on, and then you have to switch the manual to JSON. So once you have done this, you will get this body, and this body you can also copy, and then you can go back to the run actor synchronously and paste it in here in the body. And then this value is also set up. Okay, so now that you've configured your body, what you can do is scroll up. Then you can copy the curl, and this curl we are going to use in our n8n workflow, because we can use this to configure all of our input fields in the HTTP node. So we'll hover over the curl, and then on the right side you can copy it. Then after you have copied it, you will go back to your n8n. Then in n8n you can press on import curl. Then you can paste your curl in here, then you can press on import, and then all of the input fields will be set up. Okay, so one thing that you do also have to do is enter your bearer again, and this is going to be the API that you also have copied in your Apify, so you can paste it behind the bearer. And then the body has to be on JSON, because you're going to send a body request, and the body that you're going to send is this body. And this also with some dynamic input fields, because here we have the country. This is going to be the output from the AI agent that we have just created, where we have selected the search term, because here you're going to select the country and enter it in the JSON body. And then it's also for the location and for the position. And after you've did that, your JSON body is set up, and then the HTTP node is finished. Okay, so next we have the if node, and this is going to look if the company has more or less than 50 employees. So in the if node we have these conditions. The first condition is going to be if the company size max exists. This is going to look if this value exists in the job scraper, because sometimes it doesn't give us the maximum number of employees, and then it shouldn't go true in the if node. So we're going to drag this value in this input field. After the condition we say and then we have three more expressions, and this basically says that if the first condition is true and all of the other conditions are also true, then it can go to the true branch. But if one of the conditions is not true, then it will go to the false branch. So the second condition is if the company size max is less than or equal to 50, then it can go true. So we'll take this max and drag it in this input field. Then the third condition is if the company size max is greater than 0, then it can also go true. And then the last condition is if the JSON.company URL exists, then it can go true, and we need this URL because otherwise we cannot scrape their website, and then we are not able to get all of the emails from their employees and from the decision maker. So we can drag the URL in this input field, and then the if node is set up. Then we have a limit node, and in this limit node we're basically going to say that we're going to only pick 3 of the qualified leads from the if node and go through with it to the other node, which is going to be a loop over items. And in this loop over items, we need this because we want to have this whole process for each qualified lead. Okay, so in this loop over items, what you will do is the batch size on 1, because you want to take 1 item per loop. Next we have a wait node, and in this wait node we're basically going to wait 3 seconds after we've run the loop over items. And this is just so we just don't overload the hunter node. The next node is going to be a hunter node, and with this node we're going to scrape all of the email addresses that have the domain name of our company listed within their email. So in the hunter node, what we have to do is first create our credential, and we can do this by press on create new credential, and then we will need the API key, and we can find this by going to hunter. Okay, so once you're at the website of hunter, you have to create your account, so you can press on sign in or log in if you have already an account. And then once you've created your account, you will get sent to the dashboard. And then here on the left side, you have to go to API, and then you have to create a new API key. So I will press on new key, and then here you have created your new API key, and you will paste this one, and then it will go back to n8n. Then in n8n, you will paste the key that you've just copied in the API key value, and then you will press on save, and then your credential has been created. Okay, so after you have created your credential, you will have to select it, and then the operation will be on domain search, because we want to search the domain of our company to find all of the email addresses that have the domain of our company within the email address. So the operation will be on domain search, and then the domain itself will be the company info.url, and that is also what we filtered out in our if node in here. And that's why we said if this company info URL exists, then we can go through, because if it does not exist, then we cannot filter and use the hunter node. So you have to enter the value in this value in here, and you can find it by scrolling down the wait node and then dragging the URL in this input field. Then only emails will be turned on, and then return all will be turned off, and the limit will be on 10. And this is important because if you are on the free plan of Hunter, then you can only scrape 10 accounts or 10 email addresses at once. So that's why we have to turn off return all, and we have to put a limit on 10 because we can only scrape 10 email addresses. But if you have a paid plan, then you can just turn on return all, because then you will get all of the email addresses of this company domain. The next node is going to be an if node. And in the if node, we're going to say that if the position, the first name and the last name all exist, then it can go through. And this is important because we need this data to exist, because otherwise we cannot send the email to the decision maker, and that is not what we want. So to fit out these conditions, what we will do is first get this condition, and we can take it from the left side in the schema from the position raw, so you can drag it in this input field, and then it has to be on a string, and it has to exist, because if this exists, then it can go through. Then we have this value, and this has to be on AND and not on OR, because all of these conditions need to be true to go on the true route, because if one of these conditions does not exist, then we cannot send the email to the decision maker, and then it has to go to the false route. So the next condition is going to be the first name, and you can also drag it from the schema, so you can drag it in this input field, and then the last name is under there, and you can also drag it in here, and then this if node is set up. So now that we've filtered all of the email addresses that contain the right values to create an email to, we are now going to filter all of these people again to check if they have a decision maker role. So here in this code node, we have created this script, and this script is basically going to look at their position, and it's going to check if it is one of these positions. And if it is one of these positions, then it will go through. And if it is not one of these positions, then it will drop those email addresses. So after the code node, we get two routes. The first one immediately goes to the merge node, and the second one has an aggregate node and an AI agent node. So this aggregate node is basically going to take the positions, then it's going to aggregate all of those positions. So it is listed under one metadata field. So it will take the position from the left side and it will drag it in this input field name. And then the aggregate node is set up. So next we have an AI agent, and in this AI agent we're going to filter the decision maker. Okay, so in this filter decision maker, what we will first have to do is enter a chat model, and this chat model is going to be OpenAI GPT 4.1. Then in the AI agent itself, we will have to enter a user message, and this user message is going to contain the staff position of the people that are working at our company, and then the job position. So this is going to be the listed job position that they have listed on Indeed. So for the staff position, what you will enter is the aggregate position. So I will drag it in here. Then for the job position, we're going to take the search input of the position from the Apify scraper. So in the job post, and we open the HTTP node, and then we scroll a bit down until we find the job position search input. So I will drag this position after the job position, and then your user message is set up. Next, we have the system prompt, and in the system prompt, we're going to say, you are an AI agent responsible for intelligently selecting the most suitable staff member to handle a specific job position based on a provided list of available staff members. Then we're giving it some tasks. So here we say a job position could be SEO expert, developer, or accountant. Then a list of staff positions could be creative director, the CEO, or the finance director. Then we gave it some instructions. So here we say, carefully review the list of available staff positions and then determine which staff position is most relevant and responsible for managing, responding to the given job position based on a typical organizational structure. So what it's basically saying is it is going to look at our job position, so SEO expert, and then it's going to look at all of the staff members that are working at the company, and then it's going to pick out the most important person that is suitable for the job position that we are looking at. So in our case, this is going to be a marketing director. Then we're giving it some rules. So we say output exactly one item, the title of the most appropriate staff position from the provided list, and then no explanation, comments, or formatting, just the staff position titles as plain text. And then we're giving it some examples on how it should output the data. And then the AI agent is set up. Next we have a merge node where we're going to filter the most important person of the company that is suitable for our search term, any position. So in the merge node, we're going to take the output from this AI agent, and we're going to take the output from this code node. Then in the merge node itself, we're going to say mode combine because we want to combine these two outputs. And then the combine by is going to be matching fields. And the fields that have to be matched are the output from the filter AI agent and the position from the code node. And this is important because the filter decision maker AI agent only outputs the position of the person that is most suitable for our search term. So what we can do is drag this output in input field 1 and then drag the position field in input field 2. And if these two inputs are true, then we have filtered out the decision maker. Then the output type will be on keep matches, and the output data form will be on both inputs merged together. Next we have an OpenAI messenger model, and in this messenger model we're basically going to make a summary of the Indeed job post. So in this OpenAI model we will first have to connect a credential, then we have to put the model on GPT-4o, but you can also change the other model. And then the prompt, the user prompt, is going to be the position name, the company, and the description. And we can take this data from the wait node. So in the wait node, you will first have to enter the position name. So you can drag the input in here. Then we have the company, so you can drag it in here. And then we have the description of the job post, and we can drag that in here. And also make sure that you have the exact expression as what I have, so with the dot first, because if you will now just drag it in here like this, then it will turn red because then it doesn't know which item to use. And that's why you have to enter the dot first, because then it knows that it should use the first item. Then we have the system prompt, and in the system prompt we say you are an AI assistant helping to create sales outreach based on a job post data. Your job, analyze the provided job post and company description, extract and summarize the real needs, key tasks, skills and challenges mentioned, reframe these findings so they can be used to demonstrate how our servers can immediately solve the company's needs, removing the necessity to hire a new employee. And also, if you remembered of the demo that we did with the cold email that we had created, we also saw that we listed some pain points that the company is facing. And that is what we are doing with this, because here they say what they are missing and why they are hiring this SEO expert. And that is where we come in, because then we can help them with the challenge that they are facing. Then we'll give it the data that it's going to receive. Then we gave it some instructions. So here we say summarize the main required skills, knowledge and solutions they ask for. And then we have the example output on how it should output all of its data. And then this AI agent is set up. The next node is going to be a HTTP node. And here we're going to scrape all of the data from their homepage. So what we'll do is put the HTTP node method on get, because we want to get information. And then the URL is going to be the company info.url. And we can take this information from the wait node. So in the wait node, you will scroll down until you see the URL. So in here, you will take the URL and drag it in the input field. And make sure that you also put the dot first behind this, because otherwise it won't know which item to use. The authentication will be on none, and all of these will be turned off, and they will receive the data from their homepage. But now this HTTP node has returned their whole homepage in full HTML, and now we have to remove all of these HTML to make the text readable for our AI agents, and to also reduce the cost of our AI agent, because otherwise you will insert too many tokens in your AI agent. So in this code node, we're going to remove all of the HTML by creating this script. So in this script, we're basically going to say that it should remove all of these HTML tokens, and then eventually it will give us the clean text, as we can see here. And then we have fully scraped the homepage of this website. Next, we're going to use a Tavily node where we're going to do a full deep research on their company. So we have some more data that we can use to more personalize their cold email. So in this Tavily tool, you will first have to connect your credentials. And you can easily create this by pressing on the create new credential, then filling in your API key. And you can find this by going to Tavily. And then once you've created your account, you will get sent to the dashboard in here. And here you already see that you can create your API key. So you can press on the plus in here, enter your key name. So this could, for example, be n8n. And then you can press on create, and then your new API token has been created, and then you can copy this. One very nice thing of Tavily is that you can make 1,000 requests per month for free. In n8n, you will enter your API that you've just copied in here, and then you will press on save, and then your new credential is just created. After you've entered your credential, you have to put the resource on search, then the operation on query, and then the query itself is going to be this. So we're going to say, provide a detailed overview of the company. Then we're going to give the company info URL. So go back to the wait node, then paste the URL in here. And then you're going to say, include its background, services, recent achievements, and the latest news or media coverage. And then we're going to give the today date is now, because then our Tavily tool knows which date/time it is. Then we're also going to turn on some options, because we have to turn on the search depth, which is going to be advanced because we want to do a deep research. And then we're going to include the answer in advanced because we want to get an advanced answer. And then the Tavily tool is set up. Next, we're going to create the data for the email opener. And we're going to do this with the OpenAI messaging model. And in this OpenAI messaging model, the first thing that you have to do is create your credential. And then you have to select the model on GPT-4o. Then the user message is going to be the company research, where we're going to give it the JSON output from the Tavily research. So we give the answer in here. And then we have the homepage data. And this is going to be the data from our HTTP node, where we have scraped the data from their homepage. And we have to take this from the code node. So you can drag it in here. And then the user message is set up. Then the system message is going to be, you are a specialist in extracting and summarizing business insights from websites, homepage data. Given script content from a company's homepage, your tasks are 1. Identify and extract. 2. Structure your output using clear sections for each element found. And then the guidelines. Then we gave it the output format example on how it should output all of its data. And then simplify output has to be turned on. Next, we're going to clean the company name, and we're going to do this with the OpenAI messaging model. So in this OpenAI messaging model, we will first going to give the company name in the user message, and we can find this in this wait node. So in the wait node, you will drag the company name in here, and then the user message is set up. And for the system message, we're going to say, you are an expert in simplifying and cleaning company name for controversial and professional use in email communication. And here we're basically going to say that if the company has something behind it like Co or LSC, then it's going to remove that, and then we only have the clean name, because no one is going to say in an email LLC or Inc. behind it. And that's why we're going to clean the company name. And then simplify output is also going to be turned on. And then here we can see that we get the clean company name Selligent. Next, we're going to create the subject in an AI agent. So in this AI agent, we're first going to connect a chat model, which is going to be anthropic. And this anthropic is going to be model Claude for Sonnet. And then in the AI agent itself, we're going to give the user message, where we're going to give the first name, the company name, the Indeed job post summary, the homepage data, and the company research. And we can find all of this data by going first to the merge node. So in the merge node, we will have to get the first name and we'll drag it in here. Then the company name can be found in the wait node. So you go in the wait node and drag the company name in here. Then we have the Indeed job post summary, and we can find this in our AI agent, where we created the summary for our Indeed job post. So that can be found in here, and you can drag the content in the user message. Then we have the homepage data from the scrape data from our HTTP node. So in the code node where we have also cleaned the HTML, you will drag the text from the homepage data in here. And then we have the company research from our Tavily. So you can drag the answer in here and then your user message is set up. Next we have the system prompt, and here we say, you are a subject line generator for outreach emails. Your goal is to create short, engaging and casual subject lines that make the recipient curious and interested enough to open the email. Then we gave it some guidelines, and then here we gave it the example output structure on how it should output these subjects. Next we have the most important node of our workflow, because here we're going to create the cold email. So in this AI agent, we're first going to connect the chat model. And this is also going to be Claude for Sonnet Anthropic. And then in our AI agent, we're going to enter the user message. So the user message is going to be the same user message as for the subject, so you can just copy it from that AI agent. And then the system prompt is going to be, you are a controversial, approachable email writing assistant, completing the template below using placeholders for personalization. Keep the tone casual and friendly while maintaining clarity. Avoid adding unnecessary details or extra commentary, and deliver the complete email exactly as requested, without additional text or formatting. And then we gave it a template of our email, and giving it a template is very important because this makes sure that your AI agent always outputs the same structure for your email. And because of this, you are able to analyze the email open rate, and then you can see if this email template works and if it is not working. And then if it is working, then you can just leave it like this. But if it is not working, then you can just change it. But if you are not giving a template, then you are not able to analyze the email because it will always be different. Because the AI agent is going to always form and make a new email. And that's why you want to create a template, because then you are able to analyze your email open rate and if the email is doing well with your leads. And then last we gave it some notes. So here we say, for results, pick the most interesting thing for the website. Okay, and then the create cold email AI agent is ready. And then the last thing that we have to do is sending all of the data to our Gmail, because here we're going to send the email. So in this Gmail, you have to first add your credential, put the operation on create, and the resource on draft, because you do not immediately want to send the email, because you obviously want to check it if it is correct. So the resource is going to be draft and the operation is going to be create. And then the subject is going to be the subject from the AI agent. So we will drag it in here. Then the email type will be on text, and then the message will be on JSON output. This is going to be the output from the create cold email AI agent. So you can drag the output in here. And then the options will be to email, because you want to send the email to a specific email address. So you can take this from the merge node, then drag the value, so this is going to be the email address, in the to email, and then your Gmail node is completely set up. And then one thing that you have to do to complete the loop is drag the plus from your Gmail node behind the loop in here, and then your workflow is completely finished. So now you're able to get hot leads with basically zero effort by using this workflow. And if you like this video, then do not forget to like and subscribe. And if you have a question, then leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.